Hello, my name is Earle Harrison. I am from HIMS Incorporated, and on behalf of CEO Randy On and VP of Sales and Marketing, I'd like to welcome you to this presentation, this product presentation on a couple of HIMS Incorporated's premium flagship products. HIMS is very much a Braille-first company these days, placing a lot of emphasis on really improving the functionality of the user experience when it comes to our world of digital access. The first product I'm going to show you is something that I think you will recognize. And see ATIA, we've got this being captured on video, so I'm going to hold this up so our viewing audience can see it as they're browsing the ATI archives. And this is called the Q Braille XL. So Q stands for QWERTY, Braille stands for Braille in and out, and XL is the Roman numeral for 40, which is the number of Braille cells that we've got here. So for those of you who can see, this should look pretty familiar. It should look like just a regular keyboard, except we've taken away all the numbers and the letters in the main keyboard area, and in their place we've put down a Perkins-style Braille keyboard. This offers us the best of both worlds in terms of being able to get Braille input and Braille output down here, and we have all the extended QWERTY keys to work with, just like we're used to working on a regular computer. So what's the benefit to this? Is that if you are a computer user and you use your favorite screen reader like NVDA, JAWS, Narrator, VoiceOver, whatever the case may be, and you've learned the command structure for those screen readers, you can carry them over here because there's nothing new to train. The same keystrokes you would use on a QWERTY keyboard are those that would use when you're using the QWERTY or the Q Braille XL. Now the Q Braille XL has something called hybrid mode, which allows us to have two connections working simultaneously in terms of one device. So let's say I've got a USB connection for let's call it a Windows 10 computer. Immediately when I plug in my USB, it recognizes this as a standard HID, basically keyboard. But it also has the Braille out component. So I can actually type in contracted Braille. For those of you who don't know what contracted Braille is, there's the Braille that you first learn how to read when you're learning Braille, one letter at a time, and then you learn the shorthand version, like, for example, the letter B for the word but, and the letter C for can, D for do, E for every, F for from, and so on. The one that I've always been confused about is the K for knowledge. So the letter K all by itself stands for knowledge. So I can actually type in contracted Braille, and because the Braille translation takes place on the device itself, when it's sent over to the computer, it is going to back translate that into just a regular text. So I can type again in contracted Braille, I press a space bar, and it goes over to the computer and uncontracts it, so I can draft all my email messages, work on my documents, do all my editing, and never have to take my hand off the Braille display. One of the problems with conventional Braille displays is the need to constantly go back and forth between the display and the keyboard. Well, in this case, the keyboard and the display are one, and there's just, as you can see, not very far to travel. So it's an ergonomic consideration as well. All righty. So that is Q Braille XL. The next product I'm going to talk about, and I'll hold it here up briefly because I do have it connected to an HDMI cable and an audio source for, connected to a Bluetooth, rather a Bose speaker via just a cable connection. And essentially what the Braille Sense Polaris is an Android tablet, essentially. So think of it this way. Anything that you can do on an Android tablet, those Google devices that are out there nowadays, and you can do on this device, because essentially, even though it has Braille and speech,
email E, notepad N, word processor W,
it is essentially an Android product. The difference is that HIMS has done all the work in terms of coming up with a suite of apps, productivity apps,
file manager F,
that you can use right away. And you can also download third-party apps from the Play Store. So as I'm navigating the menu system, I hear File Manager,
word processor W,
word processor, and followed by W. That's a shortcut key for if I know the shortcut key, I know that all I have to do is press the letter W, and it's going to get me into the word processor. Same with File Manager. The hotkey is F1. I go ahead and go into the File Manager.
file manager F, flash disk 1.3 list item,
And basically, I'm just browsing my device, the Polaris. I think we have an image up on the screen here. I've got a flash disk with 64 gig of memory.
SD23 list item,
An SD card. It can be varied memory. Any SD card. You can just plug right into the SD port.
Google Drive 3.3 list item,
I've also got access to my Google Drive. So since at least last time I checked, was online,
backup folder 113 list item,
yes, and right away, I can actually just navigate all my files up here on the cloud.
classroom folder 213 list item, Worthy cause folder
And of course,
313 list
there's
item,
a classroom folder. So if I'm a student and I'm taking a class and I've got shared folders with a professor, he can drop documents in there. I can access them from within Classroom.
classroom folder 213, Polaris, word processor essential training folder 11 list item,
And one of my classes here is called Polaris Word Processor Essential Training. Let me go in there.
Earle Harrison, reading documents, docs 15 list, launching the word processor and touring the interface, docs 25 list item,
Launching the word processor and touring the interface. I'm going to go ahead and copy that to the clipboard.
copy, launching the word processor and touring the interface, docs 25 list item,
And I'm simply going to backspace and navigate up one level at a time.
Polaris, word, classroom folder 213 list item, Google Drive 3.3 list item,
I go to my flash disk by pressing F, because first letter navigation
flash disk 1.3 list item,
is supported throughout the entire
Acapella voices
system.
folder 123
So I
list
can
item,
press D for documents,
Daisy folder 620, DJ pad records folder 7, documents folder 823 list,
Enter on
files folder
that.
115 list item,
and press my keystroke, which a lot of you might know is Control C to copy, Control V to
Paste.
paste.
file launching the word processor and touring the interface, docs already exists, override,
Oh.
use prompt button,
And I see that I've done this demo before.
no prompt button,
So I'm going to go ahead and say, sure, what the heck, I'll go ahead and
prompt button.
override the
100 launching the
documents.
word processor and touring the interface, docs 815 list item,
So with the next version of the firmware, that as of the recording of this presentation, we can copy and paste between the file manager, or rather between the cloud and our flash disk. When the next version comes out of the firmware, we will be able to act on documents right from within the word processor.
file manager F,
I'm going to go ahead and go into the word processor now.
top of document,
And just for the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to start typing in contracted Braille. And I can switch between the different grades of Braille with space G, is the chord command.
computer Braille,
And I have three options available to me: computer Braille,
uncontracted Braille,
uncontracted Braille, and
contracted Braille,
contracted
blank,
Braille. So now I'm just going to type in N, OW sign,
OW, now,
is,
S,
oh, I didn't need to capitalize
SI,
that,
dot 6,
is the time
the dot T, time,
to do
T, O, 2, D, do,
my
M, Y, my,
demonstration
D, E, M, O, N, S, T, R, A, T, I, O, N, demonstration,
for
for,
ATIA. So I'll do .6.6 that indicates that everything's going to be caps.
dot 6, A, T, I, A,
End period.
Lower D, Asia.
So, as you can see on the screen, if I've got it set right, you can visually get confirmation that basically you can see the print at the top and the Braille at the bottom of what I just typed. So this is a fantastic way if you are a teacher of the visually impaired, or if you are a person who is gradually losing vision, you can plug into a monitor or a smart TV and be able to practice and get the auditory feedback from the speech, and also see the words, and the actual words, print words, in relationship to their Braille counterpart. Next thing I want to show you has to do with mathematics. The Polaris has a very powerful scientific calculator. It has for a while, but one of the things that have just come into play, and it's just getting better all the time, is the math editor.
Start Nemeth mode.
And because I've got my Polaris set to Nemeth mode, for those of you who know the difference between Nemeth and UEB math, you can set it to either. In my case, I've got it set to Nemeth. And I'm just going to go ahead and type in a quick equation here. I'm going to type in 2y.
Numbers 2y. 2y.
Equals.
Period. Equal.
Let's call it 4x.
Numbers 4. At 4x.
Times.
Multi.
20.
Numbers 2. 0.
Okay. So I've got that information. So I can get out of my math editor and it'll drop that equation right into the word processor. And a teacher or a professor in a classroom can pull that document up in Microsoft Word and see it in perfect visual math. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually create a graph. I'm going to actually move to our graphing calculator.
2y equal 4x multi 20.
With a keystroke.
2y equal 4x multi 21 one list item.
And with a keystroke, which was backspace enter G, I actually launched, which is essentially our graphing calculator. So we should see rendered on the screen right now is the graph for that equation, that algebraic equation that I just wrote. And I can go ahead and continue on within the graphing calculator. And where I have overlapping graphs, those graphs will be rendered not only in real time, but also in color. So a sighted person can look at the graph and see where they intersect. If I'm a blind person who want to get a quick look at what this graph might look at, I can go into... Uh-oh, that's not a good sign. only when recording a product presentation. That's almost funny. So let me see if I can get this cleared up. Okay. All right, so we're rebooting that system. I swear to you, that's the first time I have ever seen that happen. And while that's booting back up, you know, it's called Murphy's Law. You know what Murphy's Law is. While that's booting up, I'm going to go ahead and show you. I showed you the bigger version. This is called the Polaris Mini. And it is exactly the same device under the hood. It has all the same power, same processor, same memory, same everything under the hood as the bigger one. The difference being, of course, that it is smaller and cuter, and like ladies like it because they can slip it in their purse. Children like it. Young kids like it because the keyboard is a little bit closer together. So it's exactly the same device, the same
File
power.
manager, F.
And I hear that my other device is back up again. Let me see what time we're dealing with here.
01:45, 32 p.m. static box.
Okay. Let's go back into the word processor. I know I'm bold, right? Okay.
File manager, F. Word processor, W. Top of document.
And we're going to start again. Again, I can do mixed literary Braille and math Braille here.
Start enough mode. Blank.
And let's go ahead and do a different equation here.
Number sign.
2y,
2y
equals
here equal
4
number 4
x
4x
plus 14.
number sign 14.
I'll do my graph.
2y equal 4x plus 14. 2y equal 4x plus 14 1 list item.
So what happened is it brought me into my graphing calculator known as Polaris Math. And now I can either view this on the Braille display by bringing it up and then just using the scroll keys to follow the curve of the graph, or I can pop it off on my Braille embosser to get a more or less a two-dimensional view of it on a piece of paper. Or if I know what I've got here, I can just press another command here.
Successfully inserted math graph.
And now I've successfully inserted that math graph into the word processor. That went much better without the glitchy. I can't imagine what that was. I've never seen that happen on this device before. I've seen it happen on computers with screen readers before, but not here. The next thing I want to show you is an interesting application that I have, because I can turn speech off completely.
Voice off.
Or back on.
Voice on. File manager F.
I'm a musician, and one of the things I do is I play all the musical instruments myself, and then I accompany myself live, whether I'm playing keyboards or guitar. And one of the things that I was working on lately, I'm going to go ahead and go to my media player.
Media player M.
So what I do is I turn off speech, and I can have my set list open here in the word processor, the notepad, and I can go to my media player and start playing the song.
Title, track 1, Carry On Wayward Son, MP3 stock
Okay,
static box.
here's a song that I just started working on just last week. It's a cover from the 70s called Carry On Wayward Son. And I don't know how this is going to come across, but lay your weary head to rest, and don't you cry no more. So usually I would have this running through a PA system. Get a little more volume. And if I'm rehearsing with it, like I'm learning how to play some guitar parts and things like that, I can actually use the cursor rounding buttons above the Braille display to shuttle around the song. So,
Title, track 1, Carry On Wayward
not to
Son,
say
MP3
that all
stock
blind
static
people
box.
are musicians, but I happen to be one. And if I could see, I bet you I'd be a musician too. So this is my companion on stage when I go and I do a live performance and I'm singing along and I'm playing guitar or keyboards. I'm basically a one-man band with my Polaris. And with that, I would like to invite you to come to booth number 800 if you're here in the exhibit hall. We are at booth number 800 if you want to get your hands on the Polaris and you have questions. There are people over there, including myself, who are more than happy to answer your questions. If you're watching this on demand, compliments of ATIA, I would invite you to give us a call at 800-837-2000. And you can always reach somebody at sales@hims-inc.com. HIMS stands for Human Information Management System. So it's sales at HIMS-INC.com. Thank you all so much for listening, and give us a call.